It's no secret that artificial intelligence, or AI, has been taking over the tech industry, but in recent months, it's made a huge impact on the creative scene as well. For example, let's take a look at one of the most popular AI models right now, DALL-E 2 by OpenAI. Users have the ability to type in prompts that are only limited to how well they can articulate their imagination, and, like magic, it spits out a series of original images based on the inputted text. DALL-E, however, is not the only visualization model that utilizes AI. Alongside OpenAI, other research organizations including Midjourney and Stability AI have been leading the way in AI-generated 2D graphics. Stability AI's model, Stable Diffusion, even has the ability to create full-blown AI-powered animations. Some of the stuff their community has generated is really fun to look at. I highly encourage you to check out these resources for yourselves and go crazy with it, as they are available to the public. The developments for AI-generated 2D visuals are simply fascinating, but what happens when AI steps into the field of 3D visualization? Well, it has the potential to get even wilder. Let's talk about it. Hello, and welcome to Escaping Reality. In this channel, we explore how art, design, and technology can come together and create immersive experiences. I am Hyperreal, a 3D visual designer who, hopefully just like you, is curious about what is possible beyond our current state of reality. Today's video is going to talk about how generative AI will be used to create the future of 3D virtual experiences. In November of 2022, Andreessen Horowitz, a venture capital firm based in the Silicon Valley, released an article called Generative AI Revolution in Games. In the article, generative AI is defined as a category of machine learning where computers can generate new and original content in response to prompts from the user. This is exactly the process DALL-E uses, as I shared earlier. I'll leave a link to the article in the description below, along with the rest of the resources we will be talking about throughout this video. 2D image generation is just scratching the surface of what generative AI can do. The article also states that there is work underway in virtually every creative domain, from animation to sound effects to music to even creating virtual characters with fully fleshed out personalities. So let's take a look at some of the promising examples of AI research from different projects that will contribute to building the 3D virtual experiences of the future. 3D virtual experiences are immersive environments or simulations that are created by using computer software and allow users to interact and explore the environment as if they were physically present in it. These can be accessed through various devices, including ones that specialize in gaming, virtual reality, and augmented reality. To best illustrate the impact of these technologies, let's build our own mini 3D environment. Right now, it's looking pretty empty. To kick off our environment, we want to add various objects and characters to populate the space. Traditionally, 3D objects and characters are made by using 3D modeling software. One of the most popular 3D modeling programs right now, due to its robust toolset, all while being completely free, is called Blender. Modeling detailed 3D assets from start to finish can be time-consuming, even for advanced designers. Though there are ways to speed up the process through the use of asset packs and plugins, AI research is taking it to a whole other level. So, do you remember how DALL-E uses text prompts to generate original 2D images? Well, Google Research created something called Dream Fusion, where you can input text prompts to instead generate original 3D models. These models are interactable and would have the ability to be imported into pretty much any 3D modeling software to be further refined. NVIDIA also has a similar AI model to Dream Fusion called Get3D. Both Get3D and Dream Fusion source 2D images to feed their machine learning algorithm in order to generate 3D assets that can easily be edited within their respective AI models. NVIDIA also promises text input to 3D model generation similar to Dream Fusion in the near future. Although this technology is still very much in its infancy with a lot of problems to solve, including size limitations, long processing times, and glaring imperfections on the 3D generated models, it's still crazy to me that this even exists. especially since the public is still getting used to generative AI creating 2D images. Unfortunately, public access for both DreamFusion and Get3D are not yet available at the time of this recording. However, there is a GitHub for an implementation of DreamFusion by Ash Hockey called Stable DreamFusion for you to check out. Now that we have some objects and characters in our environments, we want to add the appropriate textures to them. In 3D design, texturing refers to the process of adding color, pattern, and other surface details to a 3D model. This is typically done by using a combination of 2D image texture maps and algorithms that determine how the textures are applied to the surface of the 3D model. It is a key aspect of 3D design and is used to make scenes built in 3D look more realistic or stylized. If we take a look at the textures on the 3D models that were generated by DreamFusion, they're not the most visually pleasing at the moment. Most likely, designers would want to create their own textures for these models. There are several different ways for designers to create 3D textures. Here are some of the most commonly used techniques. Hand painting, where textures can be painted directly onto the surface of a 3D model, much like how an artist would paint on a canvas by using a specialized software such as Substance Painter. Procedural generation, where textures can be created by using algorithms that generate patterns and surface details based on parameters inputted by the user. This allows for the creation of complex textures that would be difficult to create by hand. 3D scanning, where textures can be created by scanning real-world objects or materials and applying the resulting images to the surface of a 3D model. This is typically done when you want to create ultra-realistic textures. Something that these texturing methods all have in common is that they take a really long time. AI definitely has opportunities to speed up the workflow. Let's explore some early but interesting implementations of 3D texturing tools utilizing generative AI. Dream Textures is a plugin for Blender by Carson Catry that utilizes Stable Diffusion's AI model to create images from text prompts. As a reminder, 3D textures are sourced from 2D image maps. In Dream Textures' most recent update, it allows users the possibility of automatic texture projection on models, where you can type in a prompt that best represents the aesthetic you are going for, and it projects the corresponding texture onto the 3D model. This is really cool and provides a great starting point for designers, but the textures are very flat and don't have a lot of depth to them in its current iteration. Barium AI is a standalone software with the capability for AI-powered 3D texture generation. Like Dream Textures, it allows users to generate textures through text prompts, but it takes it a step further by allowing you to add depth and other elements that make textures look more realistic. Another standalone software called Armor Lab also has text-to-texture generation capabilities, as well as a cool feature where you can import your own photos to generate 3D textures from them. By using its neural network, Armor Lab extracts the necessary information from the photo to create a proper 3D texture. At the time of this recording, Barium AI has closed its registration period, but Armor Lab and Dream Textures are both available to the public, with Dream Textures being completely free to use. Now, our environment is looking pretty solid from a visual standpoint, but for it to feel really alive, the characters need to be animated. 3D characters are animated within 3D modeling programs through a process called keyframing. Keyframe animation is a technique used in 3D design to create movement by specifying key positions, or keyframes, for a character at certain points in time. The computer then interpolates the motion between these keyframes to create the animation. However, if you were to animate characters with complex lifelike movements, keyframing every single movement from scratch would be a nightmare. This is why animators use motion capture data. Motion capture, also known as mocap, is a technique used to record and digitize the motion of real-world people. It involves capturing the movement of an actor by using sensors or markers that are typically placed on skin-tight bodysuits, and then using that captured data to animate a digital character in a 3D software package. The motion capture data can be used to quickly generate a rough animation of a character, which can then be refined by using keyframe animation techniques. As advanced as these current techniques are, generative AI is already being used to greatly optimize the animation workflow even further. As you can probably tell, it takes a great deal of resources and expertise to create convincing 3D animations. So let's take a look at a few projects that are shifting the paradigm. At this point, it feels like text prompts can generate almost anything, and it is certainly not stopping at character animation. NVIDIA, in fact, has developed an AI model that can generate lifelike character animations by using text prompts. However, it goes a lot deeper than just text-to-animation capabilities. Their AI model is trained by being fed a dataset of real-world human motions, such as walking, running, and jumping. It then runs a simulation that trains the characters on that dataset for approximately 10 years, which is equivalent to just 3 days in real-world time. As a result, the characters are able to perform a wide range of motor skills, as well as interact with objects and obstacles placed in front of them. This is still very early for it to be implemented on a large scale, but the research paper on this AI model can be found on the GitHub page by NVIDIA. Plask is an AI-powered motion capture tool that can be accessed through a web browser. This tool allows you to create your own character animations by simply uploading a video recording of a person performing the desired movements. This is really awesome because it eliminates the need for expensive mocap bodysuits, which, as a result, saves time and makes it accessible to a lot more people. These animations can be edited within their program or exported out to a 3D program of your choice to be further refined. Plask is in fact currently available for the public to use. So our environment is pretty much complete, but we're missing one big element that really showcases the power of artificial intelligence, and that is to have the ability to go up to characters and interact with them on a personal level. We can compare this sort of interaction to video games where a player interacts with a non-player character, or NPC for short. However, current NPCs are scripted by the game developers and can't really think for themselves on the spot, like a real-life player would. This is where generative AI can really make an impact. Recently, a generative AI model called ChatGPT, also by OpenAI, has really captured the imagination of the general public as to what's possible when we use this technology in our day-to-day lives. ChatGPT uses machine learning to understand text prompts inputted by a user to then generate human-like text responses back. It is able to do this since it has been trained on a large amount of text data in order to serve users as a sort of virtual assistant where it engages in conversation in a natural manner. ChatGPT is free to use and can be accessed on your web browser. So let's imagine a scenario in the future where the level of intelligence found in ChatGPT was placed into virtual NPCs. Say you could access interacting with these characters through a virtual reality device that tracks your movements and mannerisms. These NPCs could then, hypothetically, understand your facial expressions, body language, and vocal tone. As a result, it would then be able to respond accordingly to a player's actions, just like how a real-life human would. Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, the scenario may not be so far from becoming reality. The technology to digitize your body into virtual reality is already well underway. But what about the AI-powered NPCs? Well, let's take a look at some of the promising projects that are developing on this idea. Building on the theme of AI-powered virtual assistants, NVIDIA is looking to make advancements in this niche as well. Their CEO, Jensen Huang, demonstrated their new virtual assistant AI by showcasing an interaction between him and an animated toy-like model of him. It was able to engage in dialogue and answer his questions, very similar to how a human would. This was accomplished through their Omniverse platform, which aims to allow developers to create their own virtual assistant avatars by delivering the AI building blocks necessary to add the appropriate intelligence and animation. According to NVIDIA, these AI assistants can be designed for organizations across a multitude of industries, enabling them to enhance existing workflows and unlock new business opportunities. For example, some practical applications include avatars that help people pick out items on a menu based on their dietary preferences, or for VTubing, which is a new way of live streaming where users embody a virtual avatar and interact with their viewers. Early access to Omniverse is available to developers and teams looking to build virtual avatars. When it comes to the realm of creating NPCs for gaming, Charisma describes itself as a plug-and-play platform for creating interactive stories with believable virtual characters. Their platform is essentially an AI-powered conversation engine where users can build digital character profiles that allow NPCs to showcase emotion, memory, and voice. Users can build complex multi-character scenarios for their games, which would otherwise be difficult to do through traditional methods. Projects built on Charisma can be connected to popular game development engines such as Unreal Engine and Unity, with real-time analytics enabling immediate feedback and dynamic storytelling. Charisma is available for download to the public. As we approach the end of this video, you might be thinking, what will happen to the current designers and developers who are already a part of building these 3D virtual experiences? With all these AI-powered tools getting more and more advanced, will they be replaced by a machine? Well, in my opinion, that's all these things are, tools, and are only as good as the people who use them. Since this technology is still so early, current designers and major studios have yet to seriously implement these tools into their production pipeline. If they have, it's just to experiment with them. Right now, it's mostly independent developers and hobbyists who are really maximizing these AI-powered tools, but that can change as time progresses. When these tools become more advanced and practical, existing professionals won't have the luxury of ignoring them and will have to adapt to fitting these tools into their workflow, or else they may get left behind. I hope that this video opened your eyes as to what's possible in advancing 3D virtual experiences using generative AI. I want to emphasize that the tools that were shared in this video are still so early and may or may not exist in a few years down the line. It's more so about showcasing the potential and understanding where the future is headed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and if there are any other related generative AI projects that I should know about. With that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to support this channel. I would also really appreciate it if you could check out my Hyperreal profiles, where I post my 3D visual design work. With your help, I hope to one day use the knowledge that I share with you in these videos to create my own captivating experiences. Take care and surpass the limits of your own reality.